Today, I would like to talk to you about the Japanese culture. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. So, a little brief intro. I wanted to learn a little bit more about this culture. Two of my employees are Japanese, and one of them actually went to Japan about 2 months ago and came back with some very interesting stories about the culture and her grandparents and just the family lifestyles that they lead in Japan. So that drove me to be a little bit more interested in learning about the culture of the Japanese people. I'll discuss uncertainty avoidance, low context culture, and masculinity during my speech today. So, for uncertainty avoidance, the Japanese people look for consensus for everything that they do. They do this so that they don't hurt anybody else in their family, their culture, in their lives. So that would be family, friends, work partners, and things like that. They they like to try to make everybody as happy as possible. They include everyone in decision making when they're going to make a decision. So a decision is not just about them or what's good for them, it's about what's good for their family as a whole, to keep cultural pride and to keep everybody happy and to keep harmony within the household. Their greatest fear is hurting the greater good. So they don't want to hurt anybody in their family or in their culture or anybody that they deal with on a daily basis. They always worry about saving face. So when somebody's worried about saving face, they also worry about what it looks like to them, to somebody looking in from the outside. So not just their family, but other people in their culture, in their community. They like to keep everybody as happy as possible. So the Japanese people are a low context culture. They have a standard arrival greeting for when somebody comes home, when somebody comes to work. They try and keep that greeting as standard as possible so that way everybody feels the same when they walk into somewhere. They always like to give thanks for smaller gestures that people show towards them. So they're very thankful as a whole culture. They try and be as thankful as possible to everyone that comes into their lives. So just as much as someone, coming up, shaking their hand, asking them how they're doing, they would get a thank you for that. Whereas in most cultures, somebody says hi, you say hi back, and that's about the end of it. Listen away, look away. They teach their children at a young age that when adults are talking, that they need to not pay attention to what the adults are talking about or what the adults are doing. So children are taught at a very early age to listen away, look away. Masculinity is the Japanese culture is a very masculine dominated culture. Everything is pretty much done from the male perspective, male point of view. The men run the country, they run the households, they run everything just to try and keep everything the same. So that way, they everything is ran exactly the same, and the men dominate what's going on. So all cultures are different, and the Japanese culture is a lot different than the American culture. But there are a lot of similarities in between all the different cultures out there. You have your family unit, you have your work unit, you have your friends. So those are some of the similarities, and a lot of times how we talk to family and friends and work, it changes. It changes from culture to culture, but at the end, there are a lot of similarities. There are also a lot of differences. So when you're looking at one culture to the next, you can't compare them as apples to apples. It's more like apples to pineapples. Some similarities, a lot of differences, and that's what makes each and every one of us different, and that's what makes all of our cultures different, and that's what makes the world a different place. So I can't take my personal aspects and go to Japan and expect to be treated the same exact way there that I get treated here. I would like to thank everybody for coming today and listening to this speech. I hope you found it informative and learned a little bit about the Japanese culture. Thank you.